front leg and wheel weren't really fitting on the bottom step, so I had to be really careful about how much pressure I put through the walker. Felt really unstable. Getting in and out of the car wasn't too bad, but if I had worse balance and couldn't hop on one foot, I think it would have been really difficult for me to maneuver around the car and putting the walker in the back and then getting in the front seat. So I parked kind of far away from the front door of Trader Joe's, and it was a lot more tiring than I thought it was going to be, walking all the way from the car to the front door using the walker on one leg. I had to try and figure out how to hold the basket while using the walker at the same time, and you can kind of tell that it's sort of awkward, and I tried a couple of different ways to hold the basket while I was walking with the walker. After using the walker for a little while, my hands started to get really sore. My hands are really red. And I also felt like my left foot wanted to cramp after I was standing on that foot for a really long time. I tried to get the groceries up by holding them in my hand as I used the railing, but that proved to be pretty difficult. So then I kind of put the groceries up a couple of steps and then moved up to them and then moved them up higher.
It happened to be raining, so that made it a really slippery surface for actually walking to the store, and I really underestimated how hard that would be physically. My wrists and hands started to fatigue really quickly. I had this cloth with some Velcro on it that I tried to rig to hold my basket to the walker. It took a little bit of adjusting, and it definitely didn't hold it very stably, so I was kind of constantly stressed about it breaking, but it did take a lot of the load off my hands, so I was able to focus more on putting my weight through the handlebars. Checking out is a lot more difficult than I expected it to be because I needed the balance to reach, scan, and then place in another bag. And I honestly wish I would have taken a backpack to carry my groceries on my back because it was really difficult to carry everything in the bags once I had checked out. Well, people are definitely staring at me, and some of them seem uncomfortable because they don't know whether they want to help me or not, but they just continue to stare. So going from here forward, whenever I see someone who maybe is using an assistive device or has an apparent disability, I'll just look at them like they're a normal person, because I'm sure that's what they want to be viewed as.
Having to walk a dog is a very real potential obstacle for someone who ambulates with an assistive device. For a person living independently who has recently had a debilitating injury, tackling normal daily tasks such as this could pose an enormous challenge. An unforeseen issue is that Kenobi has never seen a walker before, so he's afraid to come near it, making it hard for me to clip on his leash. As soon as I open the front door, he wants to rush outside, and he definitely almost pulled me off balance. Climbing down the steps is challenging on its own since there are no handrails, but it's even more difficult trying to balance when you're being pulled on. Now that he's calmed down a little, it's easier to walk, although I'm glad I didn't have to pick up after him this time. That would have been impossible for me to do without help. This might have been easier if he was a small dog, because if not for my balance and upper body strength, Kenobi would have pulled me over many times. Trying to cook is definitely a workout. It requires a lot of strength and balance, and I'm struggling. Almost immediately, my weight-bearing leg is becoming extremely fatigued from not being able to put any weight through my arms when carrying things. Also, carrying things is precarious and I'm afraid that I'm going to drop something. I could probably carry fewer things at once, but I want to hurry up. Also, I'm really nervous to be opening the oven door. My balance is getting worse the longer I'm on my feet and I could easily fall. Having to take my time and being unable to move easily around my kitchen makes cooking inefficient and time-consuming, not to mention exhausting. If you have limited resources, having an impairment like this could make it difficult to eat healthy since it's harder to cook, potentially leading to worse health outcomes down the road. I can definitely see the appeal of just having microwave meals.
Stairs are
Frustrating.
sketchy,
Challenging.
Exhausting.
and very time-consuming.
Making my bed with a walker is very challenging. It's difficult to balance and make the bed neatly. It's also really hard to bend over and pick up the throw pillows while maintaining balance. If I had to use the walker every day, I definitely wouldn't take the time to make my bed. Putting on makeup and brushing my teeth is taking much longer than expected. It's very hard for me to balance on one leg and bend over to get my makeup from under the cabinet. Getting clothes out of my closet is frustrating because I have to keep walking in and out of the closet for each clothing item. Changing shirts is not too difficult, but changing pants without bearing weight is very hard. I have to try different ways to put the pants on. I eventually sit on the floor and wiggle into them. Overall, getting ready is a challenge, and if I had to do this every day, I probably would stick to a wardrobe of sweatpants and t-shirts. My breakfast routine is pretty simple, but the walker makes it more difficult. It's hard for me to reach the top shelf in the pantry. It also takes much more time than usual.
The gym is very challenging. Having to figure out how to get on the equipment safely and efficiently. I'm unsure how to get off the equipment. I reach back to try to put my hand on the walker and kind of lose my balance. When getting the dumbbells, I only felt comfortable getting one dumbbell at a time, so it took me twice as long to get my workout equipment. Walking around the gym, I definitely had people looking at me. I don't like being the center of attention, and it kind of made me feel uncomfortable. I grew impatient, so I started hopping quicker to speed up this process. Getting up took a lot of effort, and at first I fell. For a patient, this fall would have been very harmful. The second time I got up was much better, as I learned from my previous fall. Overall, the gym took me about 30 minutes more than a normal workout would. I was prepared to struggle, but I didn't realize it would be this hard. After such a long and taxing workout, it is less likely that I will return to the gym as long as I have to use this assistive device.
My apartment has several rugs, and I didn't even think about this when I started using the walker. As I was trying to walk outside, the walker slipped on the rug and caused it to bunch up. This is definitely a fall risk for anyone using an ambulating device. When going to school, I always carry a lot of books and an extra change of clothes and my lunchbox. It's very hard to carry all of this, balance on one leg, and hold on to the walker. It took me about 3 minutes to descend with the walker on one foot. I am thankful for the handrail, but this is still scary and frustrating. My favorite water bottle fell all the way down the steps. If I had to use a walker every day and I lived on the second floor, this would definitely keep me from doing anything outside. I would probably stay in my apartment as much as I could to keep from going up and down the stairs. I'm thankful that our school has automatic doors because it would have been extremely hard to open both of these just to get into the restroom. The stall has a handrail for me to use for balance. I didn't think to get paper towels before washing my hands, and I have to use a walker with my hands wet, then dry off the handles of the walker. By the time I am walking to my next class, I'm getting very tired and my hands hurt really bad. I am thankful that Katie opened the door for me. It's hard to navigate to my seat when there isn't a clear walkway. I have to walk around backpacks and over laptop chargers. Even though it's only 2 o'clock, I am already extremely exhausted from this day.